as you mentioned, he's a man full of surprises. He's come up on the eve of the first match. CSK are going to play RCB, and there he is. He's announced that he's relinquishing the captaincy.
So the IPL is upon us again, and this one is especially important because it leads into the T20 World Cup in June. Now, Ayaz, I don't want us to preview each of the 10 teams because God knows that's been done to death. Instead, I think we should focus on 6 Indian superstars and their stories going into this edition. So let's just start off with the most anticipated return, which is of course Rishabh Pant. Now he's come back, recovered and come back from a potentially career, even life-ending injury, and a lot of us are keen to see how he goes. So, and also whether he can make his way back into the Indian team in time for the World Cup. So, what are you expecting from him?
Well, I mean, look, he has to come and make a statement, isn't it? He's coming back after a long layoff and a very serious injury. So, obviously, there is a lot of attention on him, Rishabh Pant, because we all know as a player, he's got the X factor. We've seen that in the past. He's won matches in all formats for India and won it in great style, spectacular style at times. So, everybody wants Rishabh to do well. Certainly, he wants to do well. But let's not also forget, Anirudh, that there's a cluster of wicketkeeper batsmen all vying for a place in the T20 World Cup team. So there is, apart from him, there's Ishan Kishan, there's Dhruv Jurel, who has made such a big impact in the recent past. There is obviously Sanju Samson playing for Rajasthan, and not to forget KL Rahul, who's also, he might, because there's so much pressure on him for a batting place, that he might be keeping wickets as well as batting and hoping to get in through that route into the team, in the Indian team.
So from one captain to another, we should now talk about Shubman Gill, who will be captaining Gujarat Titans in the absence of Hardik Pandya, and we'll get to him in a bit. This is a franchise that has done a lot in a couple of seasons. They won the title 2 years ago, and they were runners-up last time. And Shubman himself is a young man, and if he does well in this role, you almost expect him to be captain for the long haul. So a lot of pressure on the young man?
Yes. In the sense that, look, he's already being touted as a future captain. So was Rishabh Pant till he got injured. So, but to be touted as future captain and, that actualizing into actual, giving that job to him is dependent on so many things. And one of the things will be how he captains the Gujarat Titans this season. It's come to him, in a sense, by default. Perhaps a little prematurely, because he may have been touted as the future captain even for Gujarat. But with Hardik Pandya moving to Mumbai, it just opened up the door for him, and the franchise owners thinking of choosing an Indian over somebody like a Kane Williamson, which I think is a fair tactic. But the onus is on Shubman Gill, not just to captain the team, but also keep himself relevant as the preeminent batsman of his team. That's going to be the challenge for him, to make the runs and also provide leadership qualities, which is where, guys like Dhoni and Rohit Sharma have stood out wonderfully well over the previous seasons.
Yeah, and talking of Rohit Sharma, we now move on to the Mumbai Indians, and I want to club these two guys together, which is Hardik Pandya, who returns to his franchise and is now captain, and Rohit Sharma, who will lead India in the T20 World Cup but is no longer at the helm at MI. So what do you think their relationship will be in these new circumstances, and how important will that relationship be for the franchise?
I think that's the $1 million question, isn't it? It's such a piquant situation for Mumbai Indians. I mean, they made the big call. Big call in the sense you've got Rohit Sharma, who won the title 5 times. He's been moved aside. Hardik Pandya is coming in as captain, brought back into the Mumbai Indians fold from Gujarat Titans. He's originally a Mumbai Indians player. But, as we all know, in cricket, particularly, not in other sports so much, where the captaincy is so important, because the captain, unlike in any other sport, in cricket, is a decision maker in a dynamic sense. It's just an ongoing job. He's an interventionist, he's a strategist, he's a man manager, and so on. And the dressing room dynamics or the dugout dynamics depend a lot on how the captain gets his players to rally around him. Now, having having somebody like Rohit Sharma, who's got such a wonderful record and a long reign and long run as captain of Mumbai Indians, is going to be a challenge. Actually, for both of them, because Rohit is still in the team.
Yeah.
He's the senior pro. He's got the avuncular job of being like the good uncle to Hardik, and Hardik has got a job of he has to strike his own identity, and also get the best out of the players. And don't forget, Hardik has a third and perhaps the most crucial challenge facing him, that he has to get into the T20 World Cup team, as an all-rounder, as a fast-bowling all-rounder, where India needs such an entity. So he's been injury prone. He's had a long, series of mishaps where his career is concerned. It's been stop-start. So as somebody who can win matches with bat, with ball, and also now as the captain. And remember, he's had 2 really good years for Gujarat Titans. So it's not just something that has been foisted on him. He's also earned his spurs as a captain.
Yeah, and we spoke about Rohit Sharma no longer being captain. We'll move on to another man who is no longer captain, which is Virat Kohli. Now, this is an especially important addition for him because one, there's been speculation about his place in the side, in the Indian World Cup side, and secondly, the RCB women have won the title that has eluded the men for all these years. So, are you expecting a new kind of Kohli who'll just go out there and try to bash it?
I mean, look, I don't think there's no need for a new Kohli. If you look at his record in the IPL, it's fantastic over the years. I mean, it's amongst the best, maybe in the top 3. That he's not won a title for RCB, or RCB not won a title despite having Virat Kohli, is an astounding anomaly in many ways. Because not just Virat Kohli, in the past they've had Chris Gayle, they've had AB de Villiers, they've had Shane Watson. I mean, the pick of the players they've had to go with Kohli and still not been able to win. Now, as you mentioned, they've had the gauntlet thrown at them by the women's team, which has won the title this year, WPL, in the second season. And in a sense, the way in which RCB, the women's team, won the WPL, there are suggestions as to how things can be done. I'm sure that message will have been passed on. But I think for Virat, it's one of the things which is missing from his galaxy of achievements that he's got, that he's not won the IPL title for RCB in a long, long stint. So I'm sure he's very eager to do it. He's not won the World Cup for India in T20 or ODIs. But that apart, the IPL, because it comes season after season after season, he's got a long stretch, not been able to do it. And remember, this season he's come back, he's been in fantastic form. He's had a bit of an absence because he's become a father again. But otherwise, his form has turned the corner over the last 12, 18 months. So RCB rightly will be looking for a lot of runs from him, and him being on the front foot to go and chase that coveted title.
So full disclaimer, we had shot part of this episode in the morning and we were just about to upload it when we got the breaking news that MS Dhoni, after so many years, has stepped down as captain from CSK and now Ruturaj Gaikwad takes over from him. So Dhoni has always been a man of mystery, but even then, did you see this move coming?
Well, to be honest, Anirudh, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I in my heart of hearts, I thought, and everybody thought that this is probably his last season. He's a little long in the tooth, isn't he? And there's a time when everybody, the greatest of them, have to call it a day. But it seemed that this was going to be his last season. And yet, as you mentioned, he's a man full of surprises. He's come up on the eve of the first match. CSK are going to play RCB. And there he is. He's announced that he's relinquishing the captaincy. And this is not the first time it's happened. Let me just kind of put it on in front of the audience. We saw that in when he gave up Test cricket in the middle of a Test series in Australia, where he said, "I've had enough of Test cricket, and this is it. I'm not going to be playing Test cricket anymore." Not just giving up the captaincy. He said he's not going to be playing Test cricket anymore, and he didn't. So he's not given up playing IPL, and who knows, maybe he'll be back again next season purely as a player, but not as a captain. He may be there as a mentor. That could happen, but as a captain, I think now we have to. And I think he's when we say he's full of surprises, I think he also knows his mind. It's not that he is impulsive in that sense. He susses it out. I think he spends a lot of time thinking about it. He's had knee surgery, and we all know that somewhere I read stories that he was not extremely happy the way it's shaped up after injury. He's been there in the nets, he's been practicing hard. But, a player who's played for so many years knows in his heart of hearts how good or fit he is. And I think he's taken a call that this is the best decision for him and the team, as he had done when he was playing for India. And I think that has to be both respected and lauded.
Yeah, and also a huge boost for Ruturaj Gaikwad.
Massive leg up. Look, 2, 3, 4 seasons back, maybe Ruturaj Gaikwad, promising young player, but didn't seem like he could make the cut in this high octane league, or even beyond that. I remember there was the IPL was being played in the Gulf, and there were stories about how the management of CSK was not very happy, and then they got very protective about him because they knew he was a precocious talent. And then since then, he's been actually nurtured in many ways. But captaincy is a massive leg up for Ruturaj Gaikwad, who's played for India in the Asian Games. But this is really the big deal to be captaining CSK. But I just want to also make the point that a lot of people might ask the question: will MS Dhoni, with the aura and the achievements, the litany of titles that he's won and so on, he's been the most impactful and influential player, as we in the history of the IPL. I don't think anybody's been more influential than him. So will he end up becoming like the elephant in the room? I don't think so, actually. I think, look, he'll be a mentor, he'll be a great sounding board. But MS Dhoni, my understanding is that he keeps that distance. He values the role of the captain. We saw that with Virat Kohli. When Virat Kohli succeeded him as a test captain, of course, the Dhoni was not part of the test team thereafter, but he was very much a part of the ODI team and the T20 team for a while, till Dhoni was captain. And then, of course, when Virat took over captaincy for all 3 formats, Dhoni was still there. But he did not kind of, supersede his Rekha, Lakshman, that barrier as to what he should do. I think he understood what the captain's job is. He understood what his job is. So I don't see him being any different. I think he understands the where and how the captain is really the guy in charge of the team, and I think he respects that.
Yeah.
So I think Ruturaj Gaikwad can breathe easy on that score.
Yeah.